It was supposed to be the ultimate father-son adventure. 14-year-old Zane Wach and his dad Ryan had trained, planned, and dreamed about hiking Mount Whitney, the tallest peak in the lower 48 states. They made it to the 505-foot summit. But what happened during the descent turned a once-in-a-lifetime trip into a life-altering nightmare. Zane started to feel off. At first, it seemed like typical altitude fatigue, something any hiker might experience after hours at high elevation. But then, his symptoms got worse. He was exhausted, nauseous, disoriented. His dad decided to take an easier trail back down to make things smoother. But nothing about what came next was smooth. As they hiked lower, Zane's condition shifted from fatigue to something far more dangerous. He began to hallucinate. He told his dad he was seeing snowmen, and then Kermit the Frog. At one point, he looked at Ryan and said, "I can't tell if I'm dreaming, this isn't real." Those words chilled Ryan to the bone. But there wasn't time to panic, only time to try and get down the mountain fast. Zane, usually a sharp and focused teenager, was slipping in and out of reality. That's when everything changed in an instant. Suddenly, Zane started walking toward the edge of a cliff. His dad screamed for him to stop. Ryan ran to stop him, but it was too late. In what seemed like a trance, Zane walked right off a 120-foot drop. Ryan reached the edge and looked down. His son had just disappeared off a sheer cliff. Somehow, impossibly, Zane survived the fall. He landed on rocks far below. His body was broken, but he was alive. Ryan scrambled to find help, and just by pure luck, an EMT who happened to be hiking nearby rushed in to assist. Together, they kept Zane stable until search and rescue teams could arrive. It took over 6 hours for emergency crews to get to the scene. Zane was airlifted off the mountain, first to a nearby hospital in Lone Pine, and then transferred to Sunrise Children's Hospital in Las Vegas. There, he was placed in a medically induced coma. The diagnosis? Traumatic brain injury, broken ankle, fractured pelvis, and a shattered finger. But the most terrifying part wasn't the fall, it was what led up to it. Doctors believe Zane was suffering from high altitude cerebral edema, or HACE. It's a rare and potentially deadly form of altitude sickness where the brain swells due to lack of oxygen. One of the telltale signs? Hallucinations, confusion, and bizarre behavior. In Zane's case, it made him believe he was dreaming, that nothing was real, and it caused him to walk right off a cliff. Ryan Wach, his father, now says he'll never forget his son's haunting words before the fall. And he's sharing their story, not for attention, but to warn other hikers and families. They had trained for this hike. Zane was an athlete, a swimmer, a runner, even a triathlete. They did everything right. And still, it nearly ended in tragedy. But here's the part that brings hope: Zane is fighting. As of now, he's off the ventilator. He's responding to treatment. And while the road to recovery will be long, his family is calling this a miracle. A GoFundMe created by family friends has already raised nearly $30,000 to help with travel and medical costs. Thousands of people across the country have been sending messages of hope. Zane's story isn't just about a terrifying fall, it's a wake-up call. About how even the healthiest, strongest people can fall victim to altitude sickness. About how fast things can go from normal to catastrophic. And most importantly, about how sheer will, community support, and fast medical response can change everything. If this story moved you, if you believe more people should hear it, take a second right now and hit that like button. And for more real-life updates and dramatic true stories just like this one, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. We've got more unbelievable and emotional updates coming your way soon. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've ever experienced altitude sickness or a scary moment while hiking, we'd love to hear your story too. Until then, stay safe, and remember, even the most beautiful journeys can turn dangerous in an instant.